The Calgary Police Service continues to investigate the discovery of 3 bodies inside a burnt-out car early this morning. At approximately 7 a.m., the Calgary Fire Department responded to a vehicle fire in the 100 block of Sage Bluff Circle Northwest. Upon extinguishing the fire, 3 bodies were located inside. Based on the circumstances, this case is being investigated by the CPS Homicide Unit. Identification of the deceased will be made by the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. This will be done over the next few days following autopsy. The bodies are that of a male, 1 female, and a 3rd person believed to be female. Today, the vehicle will be relocated to the CPS Forensic Crime Scene Unit for further testing and examination. The vehicle involved in the fire is a black 2011 Chevrolet Cruze. Photos of the car, similar to the one involved in this case, are available on the City of Calgary newsroom. Investigators continue to appeal to anyone who may have information or video that could assist this investigation. We ask you to please call or contact the police or Crime Stoppers. While this occurred in an area with construction, the CPS is hopeful someone in the area may have seen suspicious behavior in the hours leading up to the fire. I'll take any questions that you may have.
Are all the victims adults, for sure, do you know?
Based on the size of the deceased persons inside, we believe that they are adults.
When you say the 3rd person you believe to be female, can you explain exactly why that's not determinable at this time? Is it just based on burn damage, or?
There's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, the scene was discovered at about 7 a.m. Almost immediately after, we had a really good rainfall. We had to tarp the vehicle. Upon tarping the vehicle and finally getting some reprieve from the weather, we were finally able to conduct a scene examination of the vehicle. Part of it is the fact that fire was used to conceal evidence in this matter. Part of it also has to deal with the fact of exactly how the bodies were located within the vehicle.
Are there any reports of gunshots prior to or around about the time? Because some of the witnesses said that some popping sounds that might have been just the car burning, but...
I'm not aware of any gunshot calls from the community.
What kind of circumstances are that leading us to believe that this is a homicide or something criminal?
Well, the Chief Medical Examiner's office will determine the cause of death. It really is just the circumstances of 3 deceased persons in a vehicle with fire used to conceal whatever is inside that vehicle, which certainly leads us to believe that the circumstances are suspicious.
Do you have the vehicles licensed or stolen or anything of that nature as of yet?
The vehicle was registered. It was not reported stolen, and we part of the investigation right now is us trying to track down the registered owner of the vehicle.
What makes you believe that fire was used to conceal evidence?
That's just an investigative theory. In our experience as police officers, often fire is used as a way to conceal crime scenes.
I mean, what can you say about what was found was it just completely destroyed? Was there anything that so far investigators have been able to find in terms of, because you mentioned fires used to conceal evidence, obviously burn. I mean, have you been able to manage to gather any evidence at this point?
To answer your question, it's very early on in the investigation. There was what I would describe as significant damage to the vehicle. That being said, some of the investigators that we have, whether it's with the fire department or with the Calgary Police Service, have significant training in arson investigation, and we will certainly be using that training and putting that training to good use during this investigation.
The vehicle was registered. Do we know who, at this point, do we know who it was registered to, and do we know if that person has been contacted?
We are aware who the registered owner is. We're trying to track that person down as I speak. Whether they are in the vehicle or not, I can't comment on that.
He's from Calgary.
Pardon me?
The owner is from Calgary. The owner of the car.
That's a great question. I don't even know if they are from Calgary. I didn't check into that, to tell you the truth.
Was it Alberta plates though?
There were Alberta plates on the vehicle, yeah.
So no red flags were raised by the registered owner's name, like it's not somebody who's known to police right off the bat?
The registered owner does have a history in our jurisdiction. That being said, we still are just trying to track down that person to confirm their whereabouts.
You're saying history
Yeah.
with police.
Yeah, we're not prepared to talk about exactly what that is right now.
But it's safe to say, sorry, criminal history?
Yes.
So, never mind. I was just gonna ask if, because I think you just mentioned before that we're not sure if that registered owner was one of the 3 bodies. I just want to clarify. Is that, like, we don't know that, obviously?
We don't know who's in, we don't know who's in the vehicle.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
Anything else? Were you able to fairly quickly determine that this wasn't accidental, or is it fair to say that you're not treating this at all as accidental at this point?
Well, like I mentioned before, the circumstances involved in this, including the fact that there's 3 deceased persons in a vehicle, is parked in a construction site that's, I guess, off the beaten track, if you will. Fire was used, like I mentioned earlier, as a way to perhaps conceal what happened inside that vehicle. Initially, those circumstances lead us to believe that the circumstances are suspicious in nature.
How optimistic are you that there is, camera footage or, does the construction site have kind of CCTV available or?
For every investigation that we conduct, we're always hopeful that there's CCTV involved. There are a lot of cameras in Calgary that point in a lot of different directions, and we're certainly hopeful that those cameras were able to pick up some images that would help as part of this investigation. That's right. The other thing too is just when we were coming in here, the investigators are also going to be releasing some aerial photographs of where the car was in relation to where it was found. So those will be released on the City of Calgary. So momentarily through the City of Calgary newsroom. So those will be released right after we're done here. And the reason we're releasing those photographs is just to give some, some geographical context to exactly where this occurred. Because this is a relatively new area in Calgary. Even for mapping, if you go on some of your mapping systems, it's difficult to pull this up. So we wanted to give some context of exactly where this car was located for the community, so that if they recognize that, if they might have been in the area last night, in the middle of the night, this morning, they're able to put some context to that.
When you spoke, so go ahead.
Were the bodies, were they seated in the seats, or maybe one in the trunk, maybe, or?
Yeah, we're not prepared to speak about exactly where in the vehicle the bodies were located right at this particular time.
We spoke to some residents in the area earlier today. Was the vehicle right next to the construction site, or was it actually in the construction site? Could you clarify that?
Yeah, the way it was described to me is this is a new townhome type constructions, and the vehicle was placed quite close to brand new construction of these townhouses, and really by the grace of God and some good work by the Calgary Fire Department, they were able to contain that fire to the vehicle and just do a little bit of damage to the side of the building. That being said, the actual placement of the vehicle, that's part of the investigation right now, and we're looking into that through our investigators.
Can you speak a little bit to how common or how rare it is for fire to be used to conceal evidence in a case?
Again, in my time with CPS, or any police officer, through any police officer's career, you do see that on occasion. Just to comment how often it happens occasionally.
Is there any evidence of an accelerant being used?
That will form part of the investigation right now, and again, it's very early on. This offense only happened about 6 hours ago, so we're still looking into all of those aspects of the investigation.
How unusual is it for something like this to happen in broad daylight? Like, it was early in the morning, but people were, a lot of people were up and about, stuff like this.
I think that incidences like this happen at all times of the day and the night, and I think there's a perception that perhaps they happen during only nighttime hours. That just isn't the case, sadly.
Carol, he's here from Fire. If you have any follow-ups to this.
Can I ask one more?
Yeah.
Just, you used the phrase off the beaten path. Can you speak a little bit to that, or expand a little bit further on that? Was this a site chosen for a specific reason as far as investigators can tell?
Again, early on in the investigation, we don't have a definitive answer to that. Where those words, the reason why I use those words is that this is a newer community in Calgary, really on the far northwestern outskirts of the community. So the fact that it's not available on some of the Google Maps or some of the mapping systems, so it does look like it's a little bit off the beaten path, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Can you give an idea how long it might take the medical examiner to establish identities of the victims? But with things like this, like how long it might take to actually identify who was in the home?
Yeah, so a lot of times that will be our investigators working in conjunction with the medical examiner's office. So, like some of the good questions that happened earlier, that came upon earlier. We might have some missing persons. We might have some calls into CPS. We'll put those together with some descriptions from the medical examiner's office, perhaps with tattoos, with dental work, that sort of thing, and then we'll be able to piece together some identities. Autopsies are scheduled for tomorrow, but that being said, they could take several days before we're able to garner some sort of identification.
You're hoping medical examiner can tell you if they're deceased before the fire, or?
Again, that forms part of the investigation. I don't want to comment on that.
Carol Hankey, Public Information Officer with the Calgary Fire Department.
Could you speak a little bit to how the call came in? Who called in the fire to the authorities?
So I don't know who called it in, but someone who saw a vehicle on fire called 911, and our fire crews arrived on scene. They came across a fully involved fire, so it was completely engulfed and was very close to new construction that was still in the stages of construction, and did a great job of knocking down that fire and preventing fire spread to that building, because we very easily could have had, now a full building fire in a new construction, and that would have then quickly been a 2 or 3 alarm fire possibly, but and when a vehicle's on fire, you can't see inside at all. You can't see anything. So they actually didn't, realize until they did a search of the vehicle once the fire was out that, there were people inside.
Are there services for the firefighters who obviously made the discovery? It must have been a very difficult thing to see. We always talk about what type of services there are for police officers and these types of discoveries, but what about for the firefighters? How are they doing, if you can comment on that, and what types of services are available for them?
Well, no one, when they're fighting a fire, wants to come across that anytime, right? But we understand that it is part of our job, and that does happen tragically, but definitely we do have services. We have a critical incident stress management team that goes out and provides that peer support, and they did already check in this morning because that crew just came off shift, and they will be coming back on shift tonight, and we will definitely be reaching out and ensuring their mental and emotional well-being.